asked a lot of questions wherever I go, and I want you to feel free to ask any question of me that you desire or express any concerns that you have, and we can address them openly. Let me just start by saying that I was in Washington, D.C. on one of my many trips, and I think I'm being recorded. Dave, you want to check in with that? Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, right now?
Is that not okay?
Okay, we need to know who's recording.
Okay, that's all right.
Thank you. Anyway, in one of my trips to Washington, D.C., I spoke to about 150 conservative policy leaders, and afterward, several of them came to me and said, do you know how desperate we are for a conservative woman in the Senate? There are none. Well, there are only 17 women in the Senate. Of those, only 4 are Republican. Of those, 2 vote with the Democrats half the time. I don't know what they breathe in name. But the other 2 voted for dark. Now, I never have myself, nor do I recommend, voting by gender. But in the past 30 plus years that I have been an activist, I have learned that when a conservative woman walks in the room with a radical feminist, it neutralizes the argument. And we are their worst nightmare. And I've been fighting what is called radical feminism for many years. That is also the same movement that we are seeing afoot today in other ways that we call socialism. It's all one and the same. And I saw this happening many years ago, and it continues. Well, we have some good men who are in the Senate who have been backed into a corner of silence for too long. And I know this is a fact. I've talked to a former congressman, and he has told me that this is exactly what's happening in Washington. And so I just think it's time to send a truly conservative woman to the Senate who will back Barbara Boxer into her corner for a change. I was raised in a very political family. My father was a surgeon, and my parents helped Ronald Reagan get started in politics years ago with a speech that he gave to the California Medical Association on the dangers of Medicare and socialized medicine. My father walked into the door in July 1965, and I've never forgotten what he said. He said, "Today is the first day of the end of quality medicine in America." Well, Medicare had just passed, and his words were prophetic. And this is my brother, Carl Bacon, who's just walked in, so he knows all about it. At any rate, we are facing some serious issues today, and I really truly believe that we need a second Reagan revolution, and that we can start by repealing and defunding this onerous Obamacare that has been forced down our throats. And then we can follow it up by Reagan's promise and his dream that did not come to pass to dismantle the Department of Education, and we can follow that by dismantling the Department of Energy and the EPA. We can do it, and we can do it in a reasoned manner. They are all functions that are duplicated on the state level, and because Utah is rated the #1 best managed nation in the state for 2 years, in the union, for 2 years running, I know we can do it better. Even though we are the 45th state to enter this union, the message I want to take to the Senate floor is, we are #1, and it's time for the United States to listen to Utah and how we do it. I think that's a powerful message. Well, what we have learned through this healthcare debate and what's been going on over the past months and years of this administration, the Obama administration, is that it's not really about healthcare. It's about who controls our healthcare. It's about who controls our banks and businesses. It's about who controls our natural resources, our land, and our jobs. It's about who controls our lives, our liberty, our families, our faith, and our freedom. It's about we the people. And it is about we, the people, you in this room, standing up and saying, no more big government. I think, truly, it is time for Republicans to start standing up and acting like Republicans again. We have cap and trade on the horizon now. We have an immigration amnesty bill coming up. And we have three issues that are working in concert with each other, that are destroying this nation. Runaway fiscal policy, runaway free trade policy, trading our freedom, and runaway illegal immigration. Those three policies put together are turning this nation into a third world country, and at a very fast rate. And I'd like to entertain questions from you about any of those issues that you may want to know more about, or want to know more specifically about where I stand. Let me just conclude my introductory remarks by saying that I'm often asked why I'm running. And here's my answer. I'm running as an American because I am passionate about protecting our national sovereignty on the world stage against globalism and protecting our Constitution as the sovereign and supreme law of our land. As a Utahn, I am passionate about protecting our state against an encroaching federal government who has unconstitutionally taken away 70% of our property strategically so that we cannot access our resources. But finally, I am passionate as a mom and a grandma about protecting our children and grandchildren's future of freedom, and to never underestimate the power and influence of a mom who is going to step in harm's way to protect those children. Thank you. Now, your questions. All right. Thank you.
This is one question, three small parts. There's talk about limited government or no more big government. So part A is, expressed in dollars, what would be the ideal size of the federal government? The second would be, what is the way that that should be funded, i.e. revenues through taxes, and what kind of taxes? Because you hear about no income tax, let's have a flat tax, let's have a fair tax, let's have a national sales tax. My fave being no income tax, replace it with nothing. And then the third question is, based on how big the pie is, what would be the ideal way to divvy up the pie? Like, what should government be doing?
Okay, let me start with the last point
Sorry
first.
if that was overly much. But I have it memorized if you want me to repeat it.
You might have to repeat that. All right, let's start with the last point first. And so you will hear clearly what his question was. He wants to know what dollar amount I would ascribe to our federal government and how much our budget should be. Second point is how I would pull back which programs. Third point is how
to slice the pie.
How to slice the
How
pie.
big should the pie be? How are you going to get the pie? And how are you going to slice the pie?
Okay.
God, I want some pie.
Let me talk it. And you know what? That's a great question to ask the President of the United States. I don't think he has the answer. And that's the question to ask our incumbent senator. I don't think he has the answer. He has, in fact, been on record as voting in favor of increasing the debt. Okay, so we just keep increasing the debt.
It's a $3 trillion pie.
There you go.
But how big should the pie
So
be?
let's start here. I think the pie ought to be reduced by $14 trillion. That would cover our debt and get us back to where we should be. Does that make sense? We are $14 trillion in debt in this nation.
No, I
we have a
understand.
balanced budget.
We put 14 giant pies on the credit card. I'm talking about next year's pie.
Okay. All right.
2011, if you had your way.
Yes.
No, let's